pointing me in the right direction. You create so much trust
Yeah.
from the get-go. And guess what? That branding expert that you just recommended them to, they're going to be like, oh, I love this woman. I'm going to start referring my clients once they're done with branding back to her because she's the next step of the puzzle. So you've just created such a beautiful symbiosis, relationship, partnership, which is incredible. This is the After Brief, except instead of boring bullet points and corporate jargon, you're getting the real stories, strategies, and insider tips that make real businesses grow. We're taking the stuff most people keep off the record and turning the mic on. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Lucky Girl Social Podcast. Today, I am so excited to be joined by the one, the only Emma Allison, our sales expert and sales coach inside our Charm Collective coaching program. And she also manages our entire sales team at Lucky Girl Social. So needless to say, she is insanely talented, intelligent, knowledgeable, and there is literally nobody else I'd rather have on the episode than her. I am so excited to have you today and for you to drop some serious knowledge bombs.
I'm so grateful, and I get to have dinner and spend time with her at her home as well.
Yeah.
She's 2 in 1.
Yeah, we love each other, obviously, but it's so nice. If you can't tell, Emma is from England, from Manchester. So it is hard as a remote team to get time together, but we flew her all the way here just for this episode. And what are we talking about today, Emma?
I really want to dig into the whole sales process because I think, so I've been inside with Lucy, with her clients now for 2.5 years. And when they come to us, there's, they have this part of the process or this part of the sales process, or they have no process. And they're leaving so much revenue on the floor. And I love money. We all love money, right?
We all love money.
And so
money loves me.
And money loves me. Money loves us all. And so I think this is probably the most powerful piece of the sales process that we teach inside to help you physically build that A to Z. So I want to dive into that.
And I think it's something that not a lot of people think about, right?
Yeah.
And we find that there are so many holes across the board when it comes to the sales process where, as Emma said, you're leaving money on the table, and they're really simple, easy fixes that will help you land more clients, keep clients for longer, ultimately upsell clients, and just scale a really, really successful marketing business. So I am so excited to jump in.
So basically, if you're getting inconsistent leads or inconsistent booking calls, or people book and then they ghost you, or you're finding that you sign a couple of clients and then you go dry for a season, stick around, guys, because this episode is going to show you, where your gaps are, and then a couple of quick wins that, we can give you here for you to increase that, so you're not getting ghosted, or you're not having to all of a sudden be like, oh my God, I need to get into my masculine energy and go and sign a load of clients, because we want that to be consistent, so you're not having to fall into those patterns.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to share a little bit about your background with sales as well. Why are you an expert? What is your history within sales? How did you get started?
Oh, I love that. Okay. So I was a teacher for 10 years.
Yeah.
I only actually got into sales. My father passed away, and I think I thought life was so short all of a sudden, and I wanted to travel more. And so I looked for remote jobs. My sister is a couple of years younger than me, and she's actually a killer closer. She was closing on offers. She's like me, but probably on steroids. She's way more excitable than I am. And she was like, you'd love sales. And I was like, I hate sales. She was like, no, you would be obsessed with sales. You're really good at it. You can talk. And I was like, absolutely not. And then she was like, Emma, just check this out. And she sent me this link to this company, and Lucy had actually invested in this company to hire setters. So I took all of the training, I went through the modules, got certified, and then I reached out to Lucy because she was interviewing. I interviewed for a setter role. And I even said on the interview to Lucy, she was like, what KPIs, what numbers do you have? What data do you have? And I was like, nothing, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to be the best in the industry. And she was like, that was enough for her. And so I set for 7 months, quickly progressed to closer. And then from there, I was closing and I kept seeing gaps in the process. And I was like, if we had this email and if we tried this, that would increase my close rate. And I started getting from like 30% to 40% to 70% to 2 months, I had 100% close rate. And I just fell in love with looking at the data and looking at all the gaps and seeing like, okay, how can we incrementally improve pieces? And then Lucy asked me to coach her clients. And then from there, I've been on other teams, other businesses, and kind of built their sales system for them as well to obviously increase that revenue. So
yeah, and I think it's been an incredible journey,
Yeah.
and she is so insanely talented and is so correct. I was like, "You're hired." She's like, "I have no experience. I have no idea what I'm doing here. Like, I just know you're going to be great." And she worked so hard. The work ethic of this woman is insane, but I think it's really important to introduce that before we talk about the sales process because you're not this person. I think I get so frustrated when I see people teaching things that they've never done themselves. And like you've been through every piece of the process. You have your hands in it with our sales team right now. So like you did every role. Now you're managing every role. And so like you have such real-time knowledge, which I think is really important. And for anybody that doesn't know, that's listening to this, setters are basically like a lead generation specialist. So they're booking calls on the sales calendar, and a closer is taking those calls and closing, obviously. But I feel like sometimes the setter language isn't that like well known in the agency world. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about the process and what are like the key pieces that everybody must have in order to stop lighting so much money on fire.
Yeah. So the sales process, we'll do a nutshell first, and then should we dive into each piece? It begins in the DMs. So either yourself as the business owner or having a setter. Now, I would highly recommend you do not bring on anyone into your sales team until you yourself as a business owner have dialed in your process and it's proven, it's working, right? So you yourself as the business owner, you're in the DMs or you're sending emails. That first touch point is where the actual sales process begins. A lot of the time when we're chatting with our clients, they're almost like friend zoning themselves and they're not treating that first step as the actual sales process. So it always begin there. From there, you're just giving value. That's it. And the goal from there is to actually book a call with you. Like the goal isn't to close them in the DMs. The goal isn't to make yourself sound amazing and blow your own trumpet. Like the goal is to find more about that person. Why are they speaking with you? What support can you give them? And sometimes it's just quick wins in the DMs to begin with to build trust. Sometimes they're not ready for the next step. But if you're chatting with them in the DMs and they're ready, then the next step naturally is to book a call. Now, booking a call is in its own kind of arena, and we'll go more into that because there's a lot that comes with booking a call as well. Like just because you've booked a call doesn't mean that person's going to show up and they're going to be a good fit. So there's a lot that comes with that. Then there's the sales call. Discovery, whatever we want to call that. Like you can call it a strategy call, you can call it whatever you want, but it is a sales call. And then there's obviously the signing of the client, which is the final step.
Wow.
So should we go back to the beginning?
Yes, the DM. And I think I love that you're saying like just value and that people are friend zoning themselves. People like you want to make it seem like, oh, it's so no pressure. Like we'll just get on. It's just like a fun little chat. And it's like that I would say is like silly girl energy that we often see within our community where it's like, no, take your time seriously. You should take the other person's time seriously. And like we're not I was going to say we're not the town bicycle. Like we don't want to just make a ton of friends and get on as many calls as possible. We want serious people and we want people that are going to respect our time and that we respect their time. So how do you set the stage a little bit in that piece of the process?
Yeah, I mean, there's typically 5 things that I do in the DM process and process. I'm English process. And 5 things that I'll tell anyone else to do. Now, obviously with this, I do need you to, use your own personality. I don't want you to sound robotic and scripted. Like it has to be genuine to yourself. But the core things that you're trying to do here. So one is you are building rapport, right? You can't just swoop in and ask a question right out the bat. You want to get to know this person a little bit. Like what made them drop into your world? What do they currently do? Like questions like that. Second thing is their desires. Like what is it that they're wanting? Because if somebody doesn't have a goal, have a desire, then you probably can't support them because they've not got a goal, right? So you want to find out what it is that they're currently working towards.
Yeah, you definitely don't want complacent clients.
No. They're just there for the fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, figuring out what they want. And then if you get excited by their goals with them and your skill set can help them, then you want to take it to the next level. But if at that point, what they're telling you that they want isn't actually in alignment with what you do, then you don't need to go through the next 3 steps. You would then probably just have a nice chatty conversation, and they're just somebody within your orbit, right? That you support them and they support you in business. But if at that point their goals align with you, then, well, what's currently happening that's like preventing you from reaching those goals? So it's the challenges, but you don't need to push pain. You're just figuring out what gaps that they have. Like, what are they currently doing? Like, what are the gaps? Why are, they struggling to get to X? And then from there, you want to find out if now is the right timing. Now, the reason I do this in the DMs before the call is because it's one of the biggest objections you'll get on the call. It's like, well, now's not the right time. Well, I was actually thinking like September. I was thinking in the new year. And to prevent all of that, just do it pre-call. Like, why are we wasting our time? So I love to do that pre-call just to find out, like they've told you all of that. And I summarize. I'm like, okay, so do I have this right? You've told me that this is your goal. And they're like, yeah. And, these are the current things that you're navigating. Is there anything else? And they'll be like, no, that's everything. Okay. It's like, is now, Lucy, the right time for you to be working, on reaching X? And they're like, yeah. And you're like, okay, well, like, what's brought this into your world now? Like, why is it important now? And then they tell you, and then you're like, oh my God, girl, amazing. Well, from everything that you've said, like, I'd love to support you, but like, we're about to jump on a call together. I could build a strategy, and that would look like taking a deeper dive into your business. But before I, even talk to you about that, do you have, the means to invest in yourself and your business to get to repeat back that goal? And at that point, you'll either get them like, yeah, no worries. Okay, great. Or you'll get them, oh, what does that look like, right? And you'll get a little bit of like apprehensiveness there. Don't just push that under the rug. Like, push again, like go one step further. Well, I have a range of different things, and I would really need to get you on the strategy to see where you fit in. As right now, I don't know, but my investments do begin from, the low end of 4 figures. And then they're like, well, yeah, I could, it just depends. If it's the right fit, then yeah, I would love to explore this. And if they're open to exploring it, then that you can have that call with them. If they're like, no, I have no investment, this isn't a priority right now, or, I'm in debt, and they give you any red flags and they've not got any investment, then you don't want to be booking that call with them, right? You want to open that conversation a little bit more to just get that clarity before wasting your time as a business owner.
Yeah, and I think like one of the things that will goes the extra mile and something that we do, it's like, awesome, totally hear you. No shame that you're not in a place to financially invest in your business right now.
Yeah.
Here are some top recommendations for you to get to a better place where we can start this conversation again.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh my God, she cares. Emma's had people where she's like, girl, like, you're not the right fit, but like, go do all this stuff. And she like gives them homework to do.
No, I do.
And they come back and they're like, okay, I've done this. And it also shows you how serious they are about the process. And before you say like, oh, that sounds like a coaching offer, you can't do that for an agency. Like, no, you absolutely can do that for an agency client. Like, say like, oh, like, you don't have your branding done. If you don't do branding and your client doesn't have branding and their brand's a mess, they have no brand photo shoot, they have like no collateral, you have to go and be like, hey, here are my top recommendations. Come back to me when that's all set up. And you can get a referral fee for who you refer them to. You create trust. You create like a bond where like, oh my gosh, this girl isn't just, this woman isn't just trying to take my money just to take my money. Like she's ethical and she cares and she's pointing me in the right direction. You create so much trust from the get-go. And guess what? That branding expert that you just recommended them to, they're going to be like, oh, I love this woman. I'm going to start referring my clients once they're done with branding back to her because she's the next step of the puzzle. So you've just created such a beautiful symbiosis, like, relationship, partnership, which is incredible.
And they see you, to go back to that CEO energy, they see you as such a more, higher elevated leveled person by saying you need to do these things before I can work with you. It doesn't give like, sign me, please. I need money. It doesn't give that energy.
Yeah. Okay. What's next?
Okay.
Also, I hope everybody has their notebooks because that was good.
Take notes. Okay. So we've talk to them inside of the DMs. Now, any of them stages, if they don't align, you're not booking the call. But let's say, for today's sake, they hit all of those 5 pillars and they're a perfect fit to book on your calendar. You're not just asking them, please don't do this. Well, yeah, like, when are you available? No. That makes you look so available. And also, that's overwhelming. It's like the client has like, well,
I hate when people do that to me. I just want to see your calendar. Give me some times and I'll let you know if they work.
Choose. And sometimes it's like, well, I'll teach this to clients, so I'm only going to offer them 2 times. And I'm like, that just seems strange. And I'm like, no, it's leading them and it's giving them an option. And if they can't do that, they'll say, hey, I can't do that. Have you got anything else? So I will typically say like, okay, so let's connect. Let's get you on the calendar where we'll take a deeper dive into your business. How does that sound? I'm always getting the mini yeses. That sounds great. Perfect. I have Wednesday at 9 a.m. and I always go the other end of the spectrum to give them some flexibility in time. Or I have Wednesday at 2 p.m. Do any of those sound good? Now they might say that they can't do Wednesday, or they might be like, yeah, 2's great. And then if they say they can't do one of those on a Wednesday, well, I have Thursday at 10. Does that feel aligned? And then they'll be like, yeah, perfect. So you're like, okay, I'm going to book that in. What's your best email? Get their contact number. Like, you want to make sure you have their number and email, not just email, because then there's a quicker way to respond to them. And then as you book them in, you want them to confirm that and add that to their calendar, because life is busy, right? Like, if I booked an appointment and I didn't add it to my calendar, the likelihood is of me showing up is I'd probably have my bestie ringing me like, Emma, you have an appointment right now. I'd have no idea.
She's serious.
So make them like put it in their calendar and like, is that all set? And they're like, yeah. Okay, amazing. So you are going to receive a message a couple of hours before just to remind you. If for whatever reason something comes up because life gets busy, let me know and we can reschedule, because I obviously want to be respectful of your time and I know you would of mine also. Now, by adding that there, you're getting more respect from them, and then they'll be like, yeah, actually, I can't do this. I've got to run my child to the hospital, right? And they'll give you the reason behind it. If you don't do this step, you find that you end up having loads of no-shows on your calendar. And that's really frustrating, because you as the business owner, you're building strategies, you're putting time aside to get on these calls, and then they're not showing. It's very disrespectful. You lose confidence. You lose a little bit of conviction in yourself, and you start like then, getting all like flustered and like, this doesn't work. So make sure you confirm. And then a couple of hours prior again, I'm like, hey girl, so excited to see you in a couple of hours. And you're just getting that yes from them along the way. And then obviously we get to the call.
Let me ask you, if you're doing the pre-frame, the pre-qualification process that you're talking about correctly.
Yeah.
You're setting the stage of like, hey, I just want to want to make sure that you have this time confirmed. You're confirming 24 hours in advance.
Yeah.
What do you feel like your close ratio should be? Because it increases the odds of your close ratio on actual sales calls so considerably.
Yeah. It's crazy. We have this email inside of the program that we actually use as well that goes out after they book a call, and I advise all of you to do it. And it basically sets the expectations of the call. And our close rate went from like 40 to 70 like overnight with this email, and having the yeses from them confirming their time and spot. If you can get, so industry standard is around 80% show rate. You want to always think you're above that. So if you're booking 10 calls, you want at least 8 of those to be showing up. Else there's something in your process we should look at. And then from there, as a business owner, industry standards around 35% nowadays for for closing calls. But I would say as a business owner, with the business owners I work with, you want to be over 50%. Because as a business owner, not as like a sales rep, it's easier to close on your own offer. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's just a piece of the puzzle. So let's jump in. But yes, you should be setting the stage. You're pre-qualifying. You're able to say no to people that are not the right fit. So by the time that they show up on that call, you're like really certain that you're going to be able to support them. And like, it's just, again, a conversation at that point. It's not you selling. So yes. I love that.
I literally say to the girls, I'm like, girls, all we need is 10 aligned calls on your calendar. And to have the beginning of this process, you sign 3 of those high ticket, you're nearly at a 10K a month. And it gets to be that easy when you use data and you use the process strategically, rather than like, I've got to do all of this lead gen and I've got to have all of these leads. No, you've got to do lead gen strategically. You've got to have a process, and then you actually can be more laid back in your business and step into that CEO energy from a grounded place, because you have something to follow. So I just think simplifying it. Less is more.
Yeah.
Less is more. Okay, so where are we now? They're on the call. They've showed up.
Yep.
If they don't show up, you're just going to go and grab a coffee and go and do what you want?
No,
No, what are you going to do?
Call them. I'm always like, did you call? Did you call?
I'm like, did you find out why they didn't show?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I didn't think about that. Like, you have a commitment. Like, you need to figure out why that other person isn't there. But let's say they show, you're on the call with them. The sales call is you need to have a structure that you follow, right? And the first thing that I say to all of the girls inside, build rapport. The person getting on that call is probably, you don't know how people are. They might be a little bit nervous. Like, what's going to happen? Or is she just going to sell me? Like, you want to set the stage really well and you want to connect with them. So please don't ask about the weather. I freaking hate that. But I will typically join. I mean, if they're wearing something vibey or cool, or I love Lucy's shirt, I'm like, oh my God, girl, where did you get that shirt from? I love it. Like, I will almost I want to whiplash them. Like, this isn't no, I do. I'm like, this isn't a typical sales call. Like, I want them to be like, oh,
Yeah.
who is this?
Yes.
Who is she? She's got an energy. She's different. She's confident, right? If there's nothing there and there's no background and you can't see anything, like a guitar hanging in the back, and I might comment on that because I play guitar myself, I'd be like, how's your day been so far? Like, what have you been up to? And then from that, you can gauge how busy they are. They might say oh, my schedule's been back to back, or I've actually just woken up. It's been a nice slow morning. And then you can resonate and chat back and be friendly and get chatty with them. Now, no longer than 2 to 3 minutes. I don't want this to turn into a coffee chat. You need to take control of the call. And the way that I love to transition to the frame is, oh my God, we could literally chit chat all day, but let's get down to why we're here. And that psychology-wise is telling them, oh my God, we're friends. She likes me. We're getting on. And it then, preempts the fact that actually I can trust this person, right? Because you would trust a friend. And then I go straight into the frame. So what we're going to do is, as discussed, we're going to take a deeper dive into your business. I've got a couple of questions I need to ask for further clarity. And then from there, we'll basically figure out a step-by-step, what needs to happen to get you to your goals. And then, of course, if everything we discuss is aligned with you and you want to move forward, we'll talk about what that looks like. If not, then obviously there'll be other things that we can talk about, to fill in those gaps moving forward. How does that sound? Now, the reason I do the AB is because I want them to release the fact that this is a sales call. And you see sometimes them go, and you see them breathe sometimes. And I want you on your calls to read their body language, because their face and their body language is telling you everything that you need to know. Sometimes they're saying yes while doing this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you sure? Because you're shaking your head right now. So I want you as well to read that language, and they will physically relax. And that sounds great. And then it's she's not just going to sell me. She's going to get to know me.
Now I have a question.
Go on.
What do you feel about matching body language?
Yeah, I do it. I'm a very high energy person, if you can't tell. If somebody comes onto the call and they're really quiet and they're mild, I will tone myself down a little bit. But if somebody comes on with Miami vibes and they're all sassy, I'm like, girl, I get to be myself here.
Yeah.
So I match them in ways. I wouldn't take that literally though and start matching every movement. I feel like
goes too far, the mirroring. I'm like,
should we just mirror everything that person does? But yeah, if they...
You're like, what's going on? Yeah, people take it too far. But I think leaning in to the camera, the zoom, rather than leaning out, just reading their energy is so incredibly important, because they're communicating a lot non-verbally.
Yeah.
Like you said, they could be saying yes, but shaking their head no.
Saying no, yeah. If they're leaning in, they're interested, right? If when you actually get to the pitch and they start, either women round here, around their neck, it's called clutching the pearls in the sales world, and it means they're nervous, and males will go around their neck. They'll be stressed here. So you can tell as well when you actually start talking about the pitch if they're stressed or not. And if you see that, don't ignore it. Don't be afraid of that rejection piece. Ask them a question, see what they're feeling. And if they're not open, I say, but you look like you've got some more questions or you need more clarity there. And I would literally lean into exactly what you're observing. Address the elephant in the room.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we framed the call, and then it's, we go through inside of the program. We've not got time here to go through every single piece into that, intricate detail, but it's basically then the main discovery. So you're going into their goals, their, desires, their wants, their needs, their challenges. You're going into the pain points. You're going into why can they not do this themselves? Why do they need you? Like, you want to figure out the doubt that they've got. Like, have they had other experiences? Have they already invested and it's not worked? Who are they as a person? How do they need to be held for this to work? Like, what processes do they need you to actually partner with on them? Like, are they not great with, like, for example, my social media manager? Oh my goodness. Me and tech, I only just learned how to do a shared album on iPhone.
She was downloading Google Docs and sending them as attachments. Just last week, Nikki, our director of ops, was like, Emma, do you not have Google Drive? She's like, no, I do. That is Google Drive. And she's like, or Google Doc. And she's like, why is it downloaded as an attachment? She's like, oh, I thought that's what you needed to do to share.
What you did.
So yes, tech, not.
Yeah. So I always ask them as well. I'm like, hey, like, if we're going to work together, as you start getting towards the end of that discovery, like how do you learn best? Like, how do you need to be supported in this? What do you need? Like, what hasn't worked in the past? And how do you want this to move forward and see us working together? Like, you want to get a read on this person and who they are, because they're not buying the package that you have. They're not buying the data points that you say that you've got. They're buying you. People buy people, and they're buying the fact that they can trust you to partner with them on their vision to get them to their goals. And a piece of that is human to human. What does that human need from you to be able to support them to their goals? And there's personal things that you need to know. With every client that you work with, there's an emotional connection there. There's a physical, it plays into lots of different areas. And I say to the girls, like, don't be afraid to really get to know them. Like, that discovery should be so deep. You should be asking so many questions to find out everything, not just about their business, their life. Do they have a support system? Are they supported in their vision? Like, and then that naturally, you start finding out if they're the financial decision maker in the business, right? By being curious about the support that they have in their world. But it's not done in a salesy way, because sometimes the girls inside the program will be like, well, how do I just ask that question? And they just drop it in random pieces. But if you're having a conversation with the person on the other side, and you're talking so fluidly about life and, what they want, the questions come up naturally. Like, you even start talking about their profit margin in their business. And this is all the financial piece that you need to know. If they have the investment, and they'll start opening up about who they already invest in, right? Like, do they have any team members? Like, how much money is actually being spent on the business? What are they profiting? And it all comes out so naturally. It doesn't need to be, okay, so, and how much money do you have for this?
My biggest thing that I want everybody to take away from this, I mean, there's so many gems, but so many of our clients, when they first come in, they're like, Lucy, you want me to ask them what their revenue is? You want me to ask them like financial questions about their business? That's so sensitive. That's so intimate. And I'm like, yes. And you are a partner to them. You have to know this information. You need to understand where their business is so you can help guide them. Yeah. You're going to have a different social media marketing or marketing strategy for somebody at 10K months versus somebody at 100K months versus somebody at $10 million months. Like, and so you have to have that information in order to support them best, in order to create something that's going to align with their goals. So like, there is literally no financial question that's off the table.
No. And if you don't ask that, they're actually going to lose trust in you subconsciously. They might not know that they are, but they're going to think about it, right? You have friends in your life, no doubt. When you just want to be appeased and you just want your ego rubbing because you're going through something like maybe with a guy, you go and just talk to your friends that are going to blow you up, right, and give you confidence. When you're serious about wanting a solution and wanting to move the needle forward and there's a situation, you're going to go to the friend in your life that asks you the hard questions, puts a mirror up to your face and isn't afraid to call you out in the situation to actually get through it and for the best, in your best interest, right? And that's how I want you to think about these sales calls. You're not actually doing them any favors by not asking questions, and they're not going to trust you. They're not going to have conviction in you if you don't know enough about them. So you actually need to go deeper and ask, else you're not the expert that you're saying that you are.
Yeah. Sorry. 100%. Yeah. And it's again, having that CEO energy to ask those questions rather than operating as a freelancer that's like, oh yeah, whatever, I'll sign you for whatever. Like, hope I can help. But like, how do you know if you can help if you're not asking the deeper questions. So
Yeah.
amazing. Okay.
And no shade to freelancers. Like we love all of
Yes,
you.
we
But there's
do.
only so long you can be in that energy for before you need to calm down in life, and you need to, have consistency, and like your energy can be reserved for other things. Like we can't be go in business 24/7. And that when you are operating as a freelancer, that's the reality that you're living in, as opposed to actually having a business with sustainable systems.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good, definitely. We love everybody. We just sometimes see a different path that would
Yeah.
be more financially fulfilling for you and give
Lucy
you more
just wants to
time freedom.
She just wants to build all your businesses the right way so you don't have to stress.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so once you've done this,
Once you've done this, so once you've asked all the questions and you know you can support them, transitions, and this is something, please write it down. If you've got pen and paper now, write transitions down. You never want to just go on a script and just read questions because it sounds very robotic. You want to transition seamlessly. So after they've told you everything, the way that I transition to the actual, dropping the price is I'm like, okay, can I get this straight? And I'll look at my notes, and, it's a consultation. It's a strategy session. You're writing notes down. You're being a professional. Okay, so, this is where you currently are. These are the gaps that we're seeing. This is what you want. Is there anything else? Have we missed anything, not covered anything? And they're like, no, that's everything. And you're, okay, great. So from everything that you've just shared, this is what I suggest as the solution for you because, and then you'll give the reasons. And I would love to walk you through exactly what that looks like step by step so that you can see, what it would be like to actually move forward and, work with me. And then they're like, yeah, perfect. And the reason that I asked that buy-in question is because you want them to say yes to you. You want them to say, yes, I would love to hear what it is that you've built and why it's perfect for me.
yes. And I will add one caveat to this is that is perfect if you have a standard package, a transformational offer that's going to be the same every single time. Now, a lot of times what we see is that clients have bespoke custom packages that they've learned all of these things. This person needs Instagram. They also need TikTok. They need email marketing. They need ads, and they have to go back to the drawing board and build out this bespoke custom package.
Yeah.
And so the key that I see at this point is a lot of times people are like, great, I'm going to put together, confirming that I have all the information. I definitely can support you with this. I'm going to put together a package and I'll send it over. It'll be in your email tomorrow.
No, sorry.
Why not? What do you do?
I literally want to strangle the girls inside the program when they tell me they've done this. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's okay to have 3 packages. Make sure you strategically, and Lucy will teach you that inside, strategically place the package that is best for them in the middle. It's like you're giving them a choice, but you're not, right? Like yesterday for the tea options in Lucy's house, she knew what I was going to choose, but she gave me 2 options, right? So it's kind of like the illusion there. And the way that you've got to have conviction. You've got to lead them. This is the package that is best for you, and here is why. However, I know you mentioned, so I've put that one here if you want to consider that, right? So it's almost, again, giving them the choice, but being so assertive in this is the best.
Yeah. And I think something that I saw personally for myself increase conversion rates considerably and for our clients is booking a proposal call. If you aren't ready to pitch them on that call and complete that transition, booking another call. And a lot of times people are like, oh, well, I can't book that other call. They say they're really busy. They say just send it to me. To me, when you tell them, hey, the next step is to get on my calendar and book a call because I really want to explain why I built this and how it's perfect for your goals and what the next steps in working together looks like. If they're like, oh no, I'm busy. Can you just send it to me? You haven't gotten control of the conversation from the get-go. That's what that means. That's a lack of respect. And the last thing that I want you to do is go and spend 30 minutes or put another hour of time on your calendar for a call if somebody doesn't have that level of respect for you. So just explaining, anytime I explain my process, I'm positioning it as why this is best for them, right? I don't want just a proposal call just to have a proposal call. We do this strategically because I want to make sure that you really understand all the nuances and the intricacies that we've built into this package and how it's going to serve you best. And if you have any questions at that time, I can answer them right then and there for you on the call because I understand that marketing speak isn't most people's languages. And I want to make sure that we have complete clarity and that there's super clear expectations before we move forward.
Yeah. And it's value. They will want to join that call because they're like, oh, I want to know what she has to say.
Yeah.
So you've got them anyway. It's like a cliffhanger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then the final step is to move forward with them. And this is where you have to think about the frame. The frame and the final pieces are so important. You've got to be in that CEO energy. You've got to lead the way. Not when they say, okay, yeah, that all sounds great. And you're like, okay, great. And it goes quiet. And I'm like, I'm looking on these sales calls and I'm like, hello, like move forward, like lead the way. Like, okay, let's do this. Like you can literally say things like, okay, so should we move forward then? Okay, so let's get started. What this looks like is, I'm going to send over a contract, invoice, and explain your process. And they're like, great. Any questions? No. Okay, perfect. We'll be able to get started in a week's time after I have collected XYZ from you. And it's leading the way for them. Now, the reason we do that and we're assertive is because they've not given you any objection. They've said, yes, 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 I'm interested, I want this. And so why would you then stutter at the end of the call? Because I see so many of you absolutely smash it. And then all of a sudden you get nervous and you start clutching your pearls. Yeah, so, how do you feel? It's like, no, like, they've said yes the whole time. Okay, great. Let's move forward. Next steps are, and then you're just so confident in your next steps and they typically will walk along with you. Now, if they, have something to say about objections and things like that, that's something else we cover inside of the program. Don't have time for that today. But then you can handle that conversation confidently as well. But at this point in the call, you are assuming that they want to work with you because they haven't said otherwise and you're leading the way.
That with conviction. And if you guys are like, my price is so high, I'm so nervous what they're going to say, start practicing it in the mirror.
Yeah.
That'll be $5,000 with confidence because just the same way that you should be reading their body language, if you start clutching your pearls or stuttering or nervous, you're not making eye contact, all of a sudden for the first time in the entire call, you're like, that'll be $5,000 or $3,000, whatever it is. Like they're going to be like, this girl isn't confident. Like she doesn't, something's not aligned here. And I'm reading that. And
after you drop the price, shut the fuck up. So many of our clients go, 5,000. Oh, we can do it in other ways. Just let me know what's doable. Why are you adding that on the end? Just shut the fuck up and don't assume you know what's inside of their brain because they might have 10,000 to give to you. They might actually be thinking, God, that's cheap.
Respectfully, of course. I love anything else to add in this process.
So I think I don't want to go too into the objection handling piece. I think that is the process.
That's it.
That's the process there. Obviously we're trying to squeeze that into 20 minutes and there's hundreds of trainings. But yeah, they are the main 4 steps to consider.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuances to sales. You get better. One of my favorite tips is to treat yourself like a professional athlete and watch your game tapes. Yeah. So many people are, one, not recording their sales calls. So like, how do we know if you weren't reading their body language or if you didn't handle an objection or if they were saying yes, but they were actually shaking their head no, right? Like there are so many things. And the more that you study your game tapes, and I know it's so hard to watch yourself on video. I've had to do it for 8 years. And I'm like, Lucy, the faster you're going to learn, the better you're going to get. And the more like clients and sales you're going to make ultimately. So make sure you're recording those and treat yourself as a professional athlete.
Yeah. And it becomes second nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your goodness.
Yeah.
I hope you guys found this really, really helpful. If you guys have any questions, jump over to Instagram. It's Lucky Girls Social and drop them there. And if you're looking for more support with the sales process, if you're a freelancer, social media manager, agency owner, and you're ready to really scale and do so with that time freedom, that CEO energy that we were talking about, and with ease, definitely ask us all about Charm Collective. We'd love to see if it's a mutually beneficial relationship. Ultimately, at the end of the day, like that is so important. And everything that we're preaching here is the experience that you are going to have within the Lucky Girls sales thing. So if nothing else,
I'm going to be tough on you. It's like a big sister energy.
Love. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Emma. This was wonderful. That's a wrap on today's After Brief. Remember, the luckiest CEOs aren't born, they're built. Now, go make your move, share this with a friend who's ready to win, and I can't wait to see you next time.